Well, hello, everybody. I am Emily Francis. I am an ESL teacher here in Concord, North Carolina. I am super excited today to have this opportunity with Matt PD to present a video on something that I worked with my students while I was an ESL teacher at the elementary school at Irvin Elementary. I am now an ESL teacher at a high school level. So starting in August, I will be working with high school students. So I'm super excited about that. But I have a few things to show you, something that inspired my students to become authors of their own stories. And I wanted to share that with you. And this is definitely something that I'm going to carry on when I move on to the high school and inspire my students to continue being authors of their own stories. So if you have any questions, you can email me at the end of the slides. I will have a slide with all my contact information. Yeah, I'm on Twitter, Emily Fran ESL. If you need to email me or have any questions about this presentation, just let me know, okay? All right, here we go. It is my first time doing this, so please bear with me, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the slides. And I do have a bit.ly at the end of the presentation that has access to the slides, so you can click on some of the resources that I have provided for you. And it's taking a little longer to come up. Not sure what's going on. All right, so here's my presentation. Hopefully it's showing. I wish someone can tell me that it's showing or not. If you're watching right now live, oh my goodness, kudos to you. And please bear with me and send me a message and let me know whether you can hear me or not. Hopefully everything goes well. So again, my name is Emily Francis. Emily Fran ESL is my handle for Twitter if you want to send a message. And here we go. So highlight your students' work with WriteReader. So we are going to learn how to make our students become authors using this app, fabulous app called WriteReader app. So what I want to start telling you is about the writer's workshop, how when I was a teacher assistant for 8 years, we used to give students a list of prompts for them to choose to write, and then we'll give them pencil and paper. And then we'll say, okay, off you go and write. No more boring writing. This type of writing does not inspire our students to become the best writers they can be. You can't just hand off a paper and say, off you go and write without inspiring them to become the best writers they can be. So please don't do this anymore. I love these ideas of having prompts, but just don't overuse them. So when it comes to writing, our students need an authentic audience. In order for them to really give their best out, they need to know that besides the teacher, there's somebody else out there reading their stories, like sharing them throughout the world. They want to share their stories with their friends, with the president, with their parents and family, and former teachers, principal, and whoever else besides the teacher. If the students know that they are writing just for the teacher's feedback, then they may not be inspired to give their best ideas or their best writing. So my idea for my students is to tell them that whenever we're going to do some writing, to keep a bigger audience in mind, not just me as a teacher. I am there to support them and provide them feedback, but think globally. Think their stories will be read and heard all throughout the world. And when you tell them that they have an authentic audience, you inspire them to be the best writers they can be. So your students have a voice. This platform that I'm sharing with you is not to give them a voice because our students already have a voice. All they need is for us to amplify that voice, for us to give them a platform for them to be able to share the voice that they already have. So keep that in mind as we go through these slides. So WriteReader is the perfect platform to do that. Again, they already have a voice. All they need is a tool, a platform for them to share their amazing stories. So once they write these stories, we can share them through Twitter, Facebook. I put them in my blog. I text them to our parents. We email these stories to other teachers, and we even print the stories out. This is the beauty about WriteReader, that you have all these ways to be able to share your students' writing. And when they know that all this audience out there, it's available to share and hear and read their stories, they are inspired to give their best. Now, I want to start by telling you that in order for students to write, to give stories, they need to inhale stories, they need to hear stories, they need to read stories. So my perspective is that you need to have a library available in your classroom that represents all of your students, all backgrounds, even the ones that are not in the classroom. Students need windows to cultures and perspectives that they are not aware of. So take a look at all of these choices that I have in my classroom. Well, I had back in the elementary school, but it's important for students to use these books as a beginning point, as an inspiration. Remember, these stories are going to help them and is going to inspire them to become authors of their own stories. So you need lots and lots of great literature. Diverse literature is super important. And also literature that is in their native language, because they need to be able to read in their native language. If they're not English proficiency at the level that they can do it on their own, they need to be able to have these books that are bilingual so they can also feel engaged in the classroom. Here's a very powerful quote, and I need to give you this quote because this is the foundation for my classroom, for my students to become great writers. It's incredibly empowering to see yourself as the hero in a book. Nothing, again, nothing can replace the unspoken validation of a kid feels when they see themselves on the page. It confirms existence. It confirms existence. Not that they don't exist, they do, but it confirms that they are validated. This is by Matt de la Peña, great author. You need to check out their books, his books. So I want to start by sharing the way to inspire your students to become writers is for you to implement the Talk, Read, Talk, Write by Nancy Motley. I read this wonderful book that taught me how, in order for our students to become great writers, they need to be able to talk, to read the book, talk again, and be able to write again. So I'll show you this process and see how this goes. So this right here is the process where our students are talking about a book. They look at the cover, and based on the cover and the pictures of the book, they create charts within each other. So if you look at the pictures, these charts are not made by the teacher, they are made by the students, because this is the foundation that they are going to create, or they're going to use these charts in order to inspire their writing later on. So right now they're just brainstorming what they are listening in the books, they are brainstorming what they're talking with each other, they're turning and talking. Their ideas are coming from themselves, not from us as a teacher. The drawings they are doing, they are inspired to add details because they know that it's going to be added to their book later on. So this is the first process to become a great writer, a great author: talking and reading. So very important foundation in order for students to exhale writing. They need to inhale this reading and this talking with their peers. And then, of course, we have the next process, which is, again, the talk, read, talk, write. So now we do the talking and the writing. I don't tell my students to go off and write on their own. They go and write off with their peers because they provide support as far as what letters to use, what word in a sentence, is my sentence complete? So that engagement helps the students feel supported, not from the teacher, but from their peers themselves. So here's a short video. I want to show you how students are engaged with one another. If it comes up, it's very short. Loading, loading, of course. You can see right here's one of my students engaged in his writing. He was right. Oh, there he is. There it is.
Smiley face. I like the collaboration. E S D A.
There you go. Do you see how they're helping each other? They're not feeling judged.
He's right there.
There you go. I love that. That's just wonderful to see how kids um, receive that feedback from their peers more so than they do from teachers. So this is the talking and the writing part. And before students go into WriteReader, which is the platform I'm going to show you in a little bit, that's a digital platform, I encourage my students to do the writing in notebooks because that gives them the ability to share quickly with their peers as far as what letter should I change, what word should I change. They can scribble, they can erase, they can draw pictures because they can use these pictures later when they do their digital stories. So it's perfect to do it on paper before they go into the digital part. So here it is. I want you to see all of the stories that we have published. These are all of the stories that we have published. Ah. These are our students already engaged with the WriteReader. After they wrote their stories on paper and they share with each other, they're ready to enter their stories on WriteReader. Now, this is the video that I want to show you on how WriteReader works. So now that the stories are ready on paper, you go to WriteReader, you'll see the children, how they log in. And if you don't have an account, all you have to do is you change it to the educator platform. I usually log in with my Google Classroom, with my Google account, but you can create it with your email as well. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, but if you're a first timer, you might have to sign up. So creating a class is super easy. You get a code and your passcode, so only you and your students have access to that platform that has all of the classes. So you see right here, I have 3 classrooms. This one is my 5th graders. Just because they're older, I have their own class assignment so they don't get mixed up with the little kids' books. But these are books published by my 5th graders. And right here, 17 and 18 ebooks that we made. And here's the code. And these are all of the books that my 1st graders, my kindergartners, and my 2nd graders made last year. So here they are. And super easy. I'm going to go ahead and log out as a teacher view, and I'm going to go ahead and log in as a student view. You're going to get a user name, which you can change it and edit it as you want. The code, you can always put it up on the board, and the kids remember it like no time. And if you notice right here, all they have to do is click on that plus button at the bottom, and they start creating their own books. And right there, this is the powerful thing, when students can see that they enter their own title, and they enter, the author is going to be themselves, their own name. So that right there is just so empowering for students to see that they are making their own book. They are the authors of their own stories. They can add pictures. There's already a search that you can add pictures. You can take a picture. You can upload a picture as well if you have it on your computer. I always had my students draw pictures and take a picture of their drawing so they can add it to their books. And once we get to the end of the slides, you'll have access to read some of these books, and you'll see how my students were able to use the Google search to add images, but they also added their own images, and that itself makes it powerful. So you can add as many pages as you want to. They can speech to text, and it's amazing how they can go back and they can read everybody else's books. So that gives them an idea if they want to look at how everybody else is working and get some ideas. It's not stealing ideas, it's just helping each other. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue here. So that's it. What we did is, after the students made their published their own books, we invited all the kindergarten teachers and all the first grade teachers to come and see our published stories. So we have a red carpet, and we printed all of the books for kids to share with each other, but we have them digital as well. So we also email the link to our teachers so they can share with the classrooms as well. So because I have ESL students, they come to my classroom for this, but once they go back, they can share with the classmates. At the end, you also have, again, access to these slides, and there's a video here. It's about a 20-minute video. I'm not going to play it right now, but here's a 20-minute video of how my kindergartens presented their stories. They went up front one at a time, and they read their stories. They showed everybody their pictures. They felt so proud. Their teachers were there listening to their stories. So I just want you to see how empowering it is, and how our students feel so special knowing that they are authors of their own stories, not just writing for me as a teacher, but we were celebrating them to be authors. And now the world can read our stories. We published these stories. Again, I tweeted the link for the picture for the books. I've shared them on our classroom Facebook. They're on my blog if you want to check them. We emailed them to our parents. We printed them out, and they took them home and read them. So this is a fabulous platform to be able to have your students' voice heard worldwide, not just within the four walls of your classroom, but all throughout the world. So if you notice right here, I have two links. Our stories and our blog post about becoming authors was featured in Achieve the Core website. So we have two blog posts that were shared through Achieve the Core, because our students did a fabulous job with their stories, and they were empowered. I know there's something that they will never, never forget. So here's my last slide. If you want to go to bit.ly, becoming authors, B capital and A capital, becoming authors, you will have access to the slides, and go and watch the videos again. Click on the link to follow the blog post that we shared. Please email me if you have any questions. I am working with 9th through 12th grade, but I'm also going to be using this platform because I think it's important for our high school students to share and make stories for our elementary students to read. So this is going to be a platform that I am going to continue using. So that's it. That's all I have. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Hi again. I hope that you, and if you do use this platform and your students create any stories, please share them with us. I'll be happy to share that with my students as well and provide feedback, because you can provide feedback to the books as they are published. So thank you for tuning in and listening to Don't Just Make Your Students Write, Make Them Authors. Have fun writing. Bye.